Welcome in, everyone, to a very important day in Millersville athletics. The Millersville University community is excited to announce a new head men's basketball coach, and we're going to do that in just a minute. We want to let some viewers join us on our Facebook live stream. This is something we've never done before, and announcing a head coach via this way, through social media. It's a very exciting thing that we can do, and we hope that you join us. And throughout this, we'll have a conversation with the new head coach, and hopefully you can share this with your friends and join us in this live feature. Of course, this will be archived on MillersvilleAthletics.com along with the press release, which will go out in 15 minutes or so. And this will also be on our Facebook page permanently, so you can come back and check it out. And if you missed it during the live stream, we're glad you could join us and take a look at this video. Again, this is a very exciting day in Millersville athletics. The men's basketball program is a very important part to the pride of this university. We want to have an exciting place for people to go on Wednesday evenings in January and February and into March. It's such an important part of the community, and Millersville men's basketball has a very, very long tradition and a rich history here at Millersville University. The men's basketball program started way back in 1899, and ever since then, the program has won 10 PSAC championships, the second most of any school in the PSAC. It has produced incredible players, guys like John Walker, Phil Walker, John Fox, Andrew Marshall, Roger Raspin, Glenn Stitzel, Charlie Parker, and Greg Testa in the more recent years. It's been an incredible ride. Everyone knows what it's like to have the Pusillo Gymnasium rocking and the Pusillo Posse in the stands. And the guy that we're going to introduce here shortly, we believe, is going to be the one that brings that back to Millersville University and has a great home court advantage and brings Millersville University back to PSAC contender status and beyond. So without much further ado, a little bit about the process that we went through to get to this point. A search committee over the course of a couple of months narrowed down an application pool of 200 applicants down to one individual. And we believe that this guy is the right guy for the job to bring back Millersville University. He's been a two-time Coach of the Year in his conference. He's the winningest coach ever at his school. He's won 3 conference championships. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you the new head men's basketball coach at Millersville University, Casey Stitzel.
Thank you, Ethan. I really appreciate it.
Casey, have a seat.
Sure.
It's a very exciting day for Millersville men's basketball. Just to give an idea of who you are, I'll give a little bit of background. You spent the last 8 years as the head coach at Delaware Valley University, a 2005 graduate of Widener, also spent some time as the assistant coach at Philadelphia University. So you spent a lot of time in that Philadelphia area, very familiar with southeastern Pennsylvania. You were a 2-time Coach of the Year in the MAC Freedom, 3 conference championships, and you really built the Delaware Valley program up from a program that had won only 16 games in the 6 prior years that you were there, 1 postseason tournament in 41 years prior to your arrival. Right. So the turnaround and the track record is there, and we're very excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm beyond excited. Me and my family can't wait to get started here, and I think this is a great opportunity for me. I can't wait to get started here.
And it's been as I mentioned, it's a very exciting day for Millersville athletics to have a new head coach to come in and share a vision and a passion and the reputation that you bring is one of very hard work. So it also has to be a very exciting day for you.
Absolutely. I mean, this is, when you get in this business, to have the opportunity someday to be a head Division II coach at my dad's alma mater, it's just a really excited time. I know I bring a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and that's what's going to be here every single day. We're going to make, every day is going to be very important, and we're going to build a program step by step, and I can't wait to get excited. We're ready to get going.
Well, for fans out there watching that don't know Casey Stitzel, that may have just heard your name for the first ever time, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you're going to bring to Millersville. I mean,
when it comes to me, the first couple of things probably people say is my energy, my passion. I'm very enthusiastic, hard worker. I'm ready to come in here and put the time in that's needed to get this program back to where it's been and get them to competing for championships and competing for NCAA tournament berths. So that's what it's all about, making kids sure they're doing the right things on and off the court. We want to graduate our guys. We want to make sure that they're doing the right things when they're 25, not only when they're 18 to 22 when they're here. Setting them up for the real world, setting them up for success is really important for our program.
Well, Casey, you had a phenomenal run at Delaware Valley. I highlighted some of those accomplishments already, 116 wins in 8 years. But I think you have to appreciate where the program was before you got there, before you can appreciate your accomplishments. Can you tell the fans watching a little bit about what you did at Delaware Valley and what you're proud of there?
I mean, the best story I can probably tell is when I got offered the Delaware Valley University job. I was actually home. My parents actually were in Quakertown at that time, and I came downstairs from taking the call from the VP at Del Val, and my mom actually, I told her, I said, Mom, I achieved my goal. I became a college basketball coach at 26 years old. And she started crying and telling me not to take the job. And she said, basically, nobody wins there. And after every time we won a championship since, I've kind of given her a piece of the net because, even when your mom starts questioning you about a job, you really know you have your hands full. But it's been a great 8 years. I owe Delaware Valley everything. They gave me an opportunity to be a head coach at 26, and they've really prepared me for my next job here at Millersville University.
But what a dramatic turnaround it was. As I mentioned, one conference tournament appearance in 41 years, and here you are with 3 nets that you've cut down in the MAC Freedom Conference. How were you able to make such a drastic impact and such a dramatic turnaround in a short time?
I mean, I think changing the culture was first, and we had to change the culture. They were very used to losing, and we had to make sure they understood what it takes every day to be successful. That's on the court, off the court, in the community, and then obviously you got to get better players. And we really worked hard in recruiting. I've been very blessed to have a great staff. Every year I've been at Delaware Valley University, I've had a great staff that works hard and shares my vision, and obviously we want the same thing here at Millersville. And then obviously when you start building a reputation, then now recruiting becomes a little bit easier. And I think we did a great job of finding the right type of players on the court and off the court. And character is huge for us at Del Val, and it'll be huge for us here at Millersville.
Well, Coach, you played and coached for some great coaches. Herb McGee at Philadelphia University, Chris Mooney, Dave Duda, to name a few. What were you able to learn from those guys and to bring to Millersville?
Each guy has been so important in my development of being a head coach. When Coach Duda recruited me at Widener, a lot of the recruiting strategies that he got me to be so interested in the Widener University program, I've used at Del Val and I'll be using here at Millersville. He was a phenomenal recruiter, great guy, type of guy that I can call up and pick his brain about anything. Just a great supporter of me. And Coach Mooney, when I transferred to Lansdale Catholic, he was the coach there, and he gave me that tough love I really needed, and he's always been there for me no matter what level he's been at. I know I can call him and ask him his advice, and he's just a great guy. And obviously Coach McGee gave me my start, at 24 years old, right out of graduation from Widener. I had no coaching experience, and Coach McGee kind of said, hey, Case, I want you to be my recruiting coordinator. And to work for someone like him, a Naismith Hall of Famer, to learn how to run a program, learn about discipline, preparing student athletes for the real world, and then have the responsibility of being the recruiting guy was just a great experience. I think that's really going to pay off here with my adjustment to Division II.
Well, Casey, in the introduction, I was talking about some of the great history of Millersville basketball, and one of the names that I mentioned was Glenn Stitzel, same last name as you.
Right.
This is a guy that scored 31.1 points per game and still holds the record for single-season points, also holds the record for 58 points in a game at one point.
Right.
Still holds records at Millersville University. That guy also happens to be your dad.
Right.
So I'm interested to know what he told you about Millersville University growing up, first of all.
I mean, I've been hearing about the university since I've been 5. Ever since I started playing basketball. I actually probably couldn't beat my dad one-on-one until I was about 16. It might have been because he fouled me all the time, but he wouldn't like to admit that. But he's just been my rock my whole life, and he's the one that really pushed me to get into basketball, period, and to get into coaching. And he's actually was my assistant for a couple of years at Del Val, and now he actually moved to Kutztown with my mother, and he'll be around at least once a week. He'll give his expertise when he wants to, and he's just a great guy. He's a big reason for all my success, and I can't wait to get him involved and all his alumni guys that he played with involved in the program.
Well, I'd like to know also what he told you when you first applied for the job, and then also what was it like giving him the news that you were the next basketball coach at Millersville?
He was obviously, when I told him I had an interest, he was really excited. He really pushed me to go after the job. He thinks it's a great place, great community, great area, great tradition, of men's basketball. And when I told him I got the job, there were some tears there, and he was just so excited to watch me. He knows that I've always wanted to be a head coach at the scholarship level, at the Division II level, and to be that at his alma mater, where he's going to be able to go to the gym and sit in the stands and watch his son coach on a place where he had such great memories and friendships were built. It's just going to be a really exciting time for the Stitzel family.
Of course, your dad played in Brooks Gymnasium.
Yes, that's
we moved out of there
Sure.
quite a while ago, but we'll be excited to have him back.
Absolutely.
And that Millersville connection is obviously very important to you as well.
Absolutely.
What would let's just give an idea of who you are as a basketball coach to our fans out there watching right now. If a former player came to us and was going to tell us about Casey Stitzel, what do you think a former player would say about you?
Intense, passionate, I think, from the basketball side, and I think from life side, I think they're going to tell you, Coach not only pushed me to be the best player I can be, but he pushed me to be the best man I can be. I'm really proud that at 26, 27-year-old, I have alumni calling me up Del Val, hey, Coach, can I be a reference? Hey, Coach, I'm getting married. I'm sending you an invitation. I mean, I think the biggest thing that I try to portray to my student athletes is not only do I want you to be a great player, I want you to be a success when you're 25, 30 years old. And I hope that would be the first thing that someone would say to me, that Coach made me a better player, but most importantly, he made me a better person.
Well, Coach, let's talk about recruiting. I know that's near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely.
You're a hard worker in that area. What kind of player are you after to bring into Millersville University, and what's your recruiting strategy in going after that individual?
Well, I think the first thing starts, one of the best things I think about Millersville is the location. I think we're in a great area for high school basketball. District 3 is a great area to attract high school seniors, and obviously we've had a lot of connections in Philadelphia through Del Val. Obviously Allentown's not far away, Harrisburg areas. We're in a great location for recruiting. And our philosophy at Del Val, since we took over it really with no history, is we got to outwork people. You know what I mean? We got to be on the road. We got to be building relationships with the student athletes, building the relationships with their families, their high school coaches. AAU has become really big now. And I think the easiest thing from recruiting is evaluating talent. I think the hardest thing from recruiting is evaluating character, the intangibles. And any good coach will tell you, you can have talent, but if you don't have the intangibles with that, unselfish, coachable character, wanting to get a degree, wanting to be successful off the court, those are the traits that really make leadership. Those are the traits that make championship players. When you have championship players, that makes championship teams.
And I know, Coach, when you were on campus speaking and you handed out the books to some of us, that you stressed character and discipline quite a bit in your program. Tell us what that looks like in your basketball program, character and discipline.
I mean, I think you have to make sure these student athletes, when they come in here as 18, they realize that, hey, eventually basketball is going to end for you, and now it's time for us to prepare you for the real world. And that starts with getting a degree. It starts with going to class, sitting in the front row, doing all that stuff to prepare yourself to make sure that you're doing what you need to do in the classroom. And my guys have always known at Del Val, if you don't get it done in the classroom, you're not going to have the opportunity to get it done on the court. And I just think character is everything. I mean, even when I pick my friends as an adult, I mean, you want to surround yourself by guys with great character, and that's obviously going to be really important here. And character is what wins championships, and what gets guys out of here with the degree.
Let's talk about playing style a little bit. X's and O's. What kind of team are we going to see out on the floor?
I want to bring a very exciting team here. We've always done a great job of spreading the court at Del Val, playing up and down, transition basketball, mixing in some pressure. We will mix in some zone, but I am a man-to-man guy, making teams adjust to our style and being really, high energy. And we want to play hard for 40 minutes, and we want to be a very unselfish basketball team. And you want guys that want to put winning over individual success first. I think that's really important when you're building a program.
Coach, one of the most impressive statistics beyond the winning and conference championships and all those things was that in 8 years, all of your players have graduated or are on track to graduate. How have you been able to have such a great success in the classroom?
I mean, I think, you and your staff have to really emphasize to these guys that graduating is the most important thing. That's why you're coming to college and staying on them and making sure you're mentoring. I think that's a big piece. That's one thing that Coach McGee really taught me when I get my start at Philadelphia University is not only are you a basketball coach, but you're going to wear multiple hats. And the big hat I think you wear as a coach is you mentor them. And you make sure that when they mess up, you want them to mess up while they're here with you. You don't want them to mess up when they have a job someday. I always use the example that if practice starts at 4:30 and I let my guys show up at 4:35 because they're good players, now when they go get an interview at 25 years old and they're late for that interview, that's my fault that they're not going to have the opportunity to sell themselves to that employer. So I think just stressing, using the game of basketball to make sure our guys understand that these lessons that's going to make us win on the court are the same lessons that's going to make you be successful off the court.
And Coach, finally, let's talk about alumni a little bit. I know that's very important to
Absolutely.
you, and you've mentioned your father a couple of times as well. How do you plan to incorporate the alumni into your program and make them involved?
We want to get them involved ASAP. It's such a great tradition here at Millersville, and I try to get in front of their faces as much as possible. We want to bring them back for games, practices, hope to have golf outings, just as much as engage them as much as possible. You have to take advantage of such a rich tradition this school has, and I want to make sure they know that they can always reach out to me, always get a hold of me, and we're going to start right away in the ground running, get a hold of everybody and get them engaged.
There you have it, fans. Millersville University's new head men's basketball coach, Casey Stitzel. Casey, how about a plug for your Twitter account? How about, or Twitter handle? What do you want?
At Coach Stitz. I'll probably try to change that tonight, get some Millersville background going there, and I would love everybody to follow, and I'm just really excited about this opportunity. I want to thank everybody.
So at Coach Stitz on Twitter. You can make sure you can also check out MillersvilleAthletics.com, all of our social media, at Ville Marauders. All the information on Coach Stitzel will be there. The press release, I'm sure, is out right now. It was scheduled to go out 12:15. So we hope you've enjoyed this video live stream, the announcement of our new head men's basketball coach. We couldn't be more excited at Millersville University, and we're excited for November. Let's get it here.
Let's go. We're ready to go. Let's get it going.
Thank you very much for watching.